Malaysia Tzu Chi volunteers from all walks of life help out at the rice seed distribution in Myanmar. A Changhua Tzu Chi volunteer overcomes the grief of losing her son by dedicating herself to volunteer work. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. Tzu Chi's large-scale rice seed distribution in Myanmar have been completed. This time, volunteers from Malaysia have also come to help out. They come from all walks of life and some are volunteering after retirement. Let's meet some of these Malaysia volunteers. Johor Bahru Tzu Chi volunteers have reached Singapore before daybreak. Then they immediately caught a flight to Yangon, Myanmar. Tzu Chi Foundation has held various large-scale rice seed distribution in Myanmar for the most part of February. Malaysian volunteers from Johor Bahru have also traveled to help out. Despite having language barriers, they've gained much from the experience.
Although the Burmese farmers do not have abundant material resources, they're very happy to interact with the volunteers. They're pure and kind-hearted, always sharing what they have with other people around them.
Maybe because we have material resources readily available at our fingertips, so we do not know to cherish them. We really need to be very grateful for everything that we have. With good health, we should take actions to give more of ourselves.
Dr. Chen Bi-Q, the former superintendent of a hospital in Kulai, has practiced medicine for over 30 years. After retiring, she has also come to Myanmar to help out.
The farmers in Myanmar live an impoverished life. We're very fortunate. I hope that we will accumulate merit in this lifetime, so that when we reincarnate, we will be born in a good environment.
Ling Chi Ten, who used to serve in the education sector, is also volunteering after retirement. She's now a full-time volunteer.
Since I've been to Myanmar before and forming good affinities with the people here, I really miss them. The Myanmar volunteers have been preparing for the rice seeds distributions for several months already. It's not an easy task. There are so few of them doing so much work. Therefore, I really respect and admire them.
While the 10-day rice seed distribution had been completed, the love of Malaysian volunteers will forever stay in the hearts of the local farmers. In Cambodia, Tzu Chi's large-scale free clinic in Takeo province has served 1,269 people on its first day. On the second day, the surgical team overcame many challenges to conduct a surgery on a boy with a cleft lip. By talking with a 14-year-old boy on the surgical bed, the medical volunteers try to calm his anxious mind.
There is a pipe between his nasal and oral cavities, so sometimes the food will get into both places. In addition, he had already undergone a surgery when he was 6 months old.
Suffering from a cleft lip, the boy had undergone 2 surgeries already, which only worsened his condition.
We will open up the flap and cut away the older scars to relax the area. Then we will be suturing it up, layer by layer. The surgery will take about a little more than an hour.
Okay, relax. You tell her relax. Now should be less pain already.
After applying anesthesia, the surgery that's going to last for more than 1 hour has officially begun. In the operation room, the folded tables have been covered with a medical procedural padding, turning it into a simple surgical bed. The lamp next to the bed and the lights on the doctor's heads replaces the professional operation lights.
The lamps leave shadows, which might cover our view. The real operation lights do not create shadows, as it is shone from the ceiling. In addition, the brightness can be adjusted.
Overcoming all the obstacles, the surgery was successfully completed.
In about a week's time, the swelling will gradually be reduced. It is also related to bleeding. If the bleeding was more severe, the swelling will be worse. However, today, it looks like everything went very smoothly.
I am very grateful to the doctor for conducting such a beautiful surgery on my son. It is way better than before. I am very grateful.
Putting her palms together, the patient's mother expresses her gratitude. The unconditional giving of the medical volunteers is both beautiful and touching. Staying in Cambodia, a 15-year-old boy had a large tumor on his right abdomen. It was painful to walk or even sit down. Therefore, his mother has brought him to Tzu Chi's free clinic. The medical volunteers quickly conducted a surgery to remove the tumor.
The size of the tumor is like a baseball. It is located on the right abdomen of this 15-year-old boy, Li Jiangrith. While lying on the surgical bed, the male nurse kept on comforting him. His hands were held tightly as he is scared of the upcoming surgery.
It is a big pustule which led to his difficulties in walking. Why? Because it is painful to walk and the swelling is severe.
The doctor had used a scalpel to extrude the pustules. The surgery was completed in less than 15 minutes. Finally, the weight has been lifted off in both the mother and son's minds.
I ask myself all the time, what if it is very serious? What if there's no treatment for it? I was very scared. After the surgery, I asked my child if he's feeling okay. He said he feels much better now. I am finally at ease.
On the other hand, this patient sitting on the wheelchair had her right foot bandaged. 2 weeks ago, she had encountered a car accident, leading her to have a patellar fracture. She underwent a surgery more than 10 days ago. Now the medical volunteers have helped her to remove her stitches. For her, this free clinic had lessened her financial burden.
I am thankful for the free clinic. If the event hasn't been conducted, I would have to go to Phnom Penh to remove my stitches. I am grateful for all of you. Not only it is expensive to go to the hospital, but it is also far away from here.
We can find many heartwarming stories on the first day of the event. For the volunteers, alleviating the residents' pain and bringing smiles onto their faces motivates them to continue helping people in need.
Also at Tzu Chi's free clinic in Cambodia, a grandmother has suffered from a finger injury. She had endured the pain for 3 years. As the swelling became severe, she came to Tzu Chi's free clinic to seek help. After the volunteers conducted a minor operation, the grandma's finger regained its function.
2 or 3 years. 2 or 3 years. Injected by the fish burn.
As one can see, the index finger is swelled and cannot be bent. Here, this patient lives in poverty. Therefore, she cannot afford to see a doctor.
She said if go to the hospital, she need to pay. So this is free for her to come.
那可能是有造成肌腱
The fishbone has caused tendon inflammation, or maybe it was affected by some of the growths right by the tendons. If the swelling gets worse, it might affect the finger's ability to move.
Just tell her in 3 minutes the finger will feel no pain at all.
While applying topical anesthetic on her hand, the volunteers have comforted her at the same time. The volunteers worked together to conduct a minor surgery. It was completed in less than 10 minutes, and the sarcoma was removed successfully.
Like that? Yeah. Happy?
Home it? Home. But she's scary. She doesn't want to see it.
Already?
She's scary.
The fish bone cut open. 肌腱里面造成的一个
A fibroma was formed inside the tendon. It was caused by the fishbone, which pierced the finger for about 2 to 3 years. The fibroma became bigger and grew harder. After the sarcoma was removed, you can clearly see the tendon. I believe she will be able to move her finger later on.
以后她应该就可以活动自如。
After suturing the wound, the grandma can finally function normally and be at ease again. Before leaving, they have taken a picture together. As we can see, the humanistic healthcare is all about treating patients with sincerity and love.
鼓浪屿Island in Xiamen, China is a famous tourist site, attracting thousands of visitors every year. Unfortunately, many people also leave behind a lot of garbage. To solve this problem, the government and city volunteers have set up a recycling station on the island.
Waves of visitors arrived at the harbor of鼓lang Island, with some of them being Tzu Chi volunteers. They do not come for sightseeing, but to promote environmental protection. They line up bottles and cans on the plaza with signs that clearly indicate what they are for. The song about recycling very quickly attracts a lot of people. Liu Baojun has lived on the island for over 40 years. She is a good friend of Tzu Chi volunteers, so she does not miss this event.
During the Lunar New Year, we'd have 3 times the garbage, so we really appreciate your enormous contribution to鼓lang Island.
Li Jie takes his family from Shenzhen to visit鼓lang Island for the Lunar New Year holiday. When he sees what the volunteers are promoting, he uses it to teach his son.
We often see cans for recycling in public areas stuffed with all kinds of garbage. I feel that if you want to teach your children, you should do it like this. After a while, people in this generation, his children, and future generations will be aware about recycling.
鼓lang Island is a popular tourist site, so thousands of visitors go there, but also leave a lot of garbage. In 2016, Fujian government and Tzu Chi volunteers set up a recycling station to promote environmental protection. They collect recyclables once a week. At the beginning, the public often refused to help, but after 3 years of efforts, they have successfully convinced the public to do recycling and formed bonds with the public. Zhang Meiyue is a recycling supervisor. She always collects the most recyclables.
You guys have brought many benefits to the locals of鼓lang Island, so many local residents are willing to join you and collect recyclables.
After 1 day of hard work, the volunteers have returned the island to its original beauty.
Also on鼓lang Island, Tzu Chi volunteers in Xiamen have discovered that there's a large aging population. Therefore, Tzu Chi volunteers have conducted regular home visits for these Tzu Chi's long-term care recipients.
The popular tourist destination,鼓lang屿Island, actually is a place where many elderly residents spend their lonely days. The government has listed this house as inhabitable. It needs to be renovated. The second floor is too dangerous to live in. 82-year-old Zhang Suibi lives on the first floor of the house. He suffers from hypertrophy of the prostate, and his only child suffers from mental disorders. Both of them are taken care of by his wife.
Our only child started suffering from depression at the age of 21. I just kept on taking sleeping pills. Otherwise, I won't be able to sleep well.
In one conversation, everything that has been held inside was finally vented out. Whenever Chen Danlu mentions her now 46-year-old son, her tears will come streaming down. He was supposed to be the one taking care of them, not the other way around. Under the accompaniment and comforting words of the volunteers, the couple finally was able to open up their hearts.
You guys really care about us. You guys came especially to visit us. I am very grateful.
Usually he doesn't really talk much, but today he has been speaking a lot more. Otherwise, he doesn't like to talk at all. He's really happy. We're all really happy. You guys coming to our home to care for us, we're very grateful.
83-year-old Liang Shouzi's youngest son suffers from mental disorders, so whenever strangers come to the home, he will immediately go hide in his room.
Just like you said, in order to help someone, we need to purify their heart first. He just needs to be willing to open his heart to others. When that happens, his abilities will absolutely be no issue.
The family relies on the eldest son's breakfast store to get by. The Tzu Chi volunteers guided him to perform the tea ceremony for his mother in order to display his filial piety and love for his mother.
Over the years, I haven't been doing my best in taking care of you. Please forgive me. I'll try harder to improve in the future. I will be better.
I wish you good health and all the success in your work.
I've never dared to try expressing my emotions. I felt too embarrassed to do it. It's thanks to you guys I got the courage to do it. Yes, when there is a first time, there will be a second time.
The elderly population residing on鼓lang屿Island also needs our love and care on a regular basis.
Today we'll meet a Tzu Chi volunteer from Changhua Li'Erhua. 8 years ago, her son passed away due to cancer, and she fell into a deep depression. Fortunately, she slowly started to walk out of her despair by dedicating herself to volunteer work.
Meeting up at the DaAi Liaison office, under the guidance of the Jinseable Dharma Master, the home visit team set off to comfort the flood-affected residents. Leader Hua followed closely behind the Dharma Master, learning various ways on how to comfort the affected residents.
I saw all the images of the 823 flood from the TV at home. It brought tears to my eyes. Today, being physically here in Budai Jiayi, being able to comfort the flood-affected residents with the Dharma Masters, I feel very blessed. Seeing them still struggling and upset about the situation, the Dharma Masters spoke gently to comfort their emotions. I saw that some people had already done most of the post-flood cleanup work. Many of them had told us that not even their own children had came to check up on them as fast as Tzu Chi volunteers. That's why they were very touched that we were there to care for them.
Seizing every opportunity to do good deeds, not letting anything pass her by. This is due to the fact that she can deeply understand just how quickly impermanence can hit.
In 2011, impermanence hit. Really, never in a million years would I have thought that would happen to me. I had two sons who were both well-behaved and did really well in school. My eldest son worked at the Shousui Junior High School. He never smoked and didn't have any bad habits at all. He was a good man. I can't get it through my head how it is possible that he passed away due to nasopharyngeal cancer. I can't really wrap my head around it. When my son passed away, the whole entire school was in mourning because he was well-liked at the school. He was a leader and mentor to many. When he was in the hospital, many colleagues went and visited him. They would always call him Team Leader Zhang. They kept on saying, "Everyone at the school is waiting for you to come back to further discuss some issues." It made me really sad inside. I just thought, why are we so unlucky?
Letting go of one's child before one's own passing is one of the hardest things to do in life. For over 7 years, Leader Hua has insisted on chanting the sutra daily for her son. However, there are still times when it becomes unbearable.
Sometimes I would think that maybe I do have depression. Before my son had passed away, I was always a very outgoing person. I would smile and laugh every time I see people. Ever since he's gone, I feel like I am no longer the same person anymore. My memory has also gotten a lot worse. One time I was out with some other Tzu Chi volunteers, and I just couldn't hold it in anymore. I just started hitting my own heart, just kept on hitting and hitting repeatedly. I felt that I should have been the one that went, not him. Why wasn't I the one? I'm the aging one. Why take away such a youthful person? Plus, the children are still little.
Getting out of the depressive state of mind, letting go of the attachments, she started to fully invest herself as a hospital volunteer, turning herself into someone the patients can vent their emotions at. It took the ultimate empathy.
There was one time when I had just returned from Yuli back to the Hualien Tzu Chi Medical Center to be a hospital volunteer. I was assigned to be at the blood pressure station. One patient told me, "Go tell the doctor that I don't want to be seen today." I didn't do what he had asked, and he said, "It's such a small task, and you can't even help me with that?" When he came out of the clinical room, the same patient said to me, "Miss, I am sorry for the way I acted before. I was being really rude to you. How come you didn't even get angry at me?" When people are ill, they're often in a bad mood, so we must be understanding and considerate of what they are going through. Just think about it. If any one of us had to deal with some kind of illness every second of the day, we wouldn't be in a great mood either. So it's okay. Let them vent a bit. Make them feel a bit better off at least.
The couple is walking the same path, doing recycling together, supporting one another along the way.
I started doing recycling work around the age of 40. I'm almost 70 years old now. In the beginning, when my husband hasn't retired yet, we were the ultimate team. One person would be tearing the paper at the bottom, and the other one would be catching it on the bed of the truck. All the paper materials were outdoors, so it would get soaking wet. When the paper materials get wet, they become very heavy to carry. Therefore, I told my husband that we could cover it with canvas so it doesn't get soaked and become heavy to carry. When we are collecting the recyclables and sorting them, some people would misunderstand our purpose. They would think that we needed to do this in order to make ends meet. I would always tell them, no, that is not for us. It's actually to help support DaAi Television. It's also to protect our Mother Earth. It's also much more meaningful than just sitting at home doing nothing and thinking about negative thoughts. I hope that the Buddha will bless both my husband and I on our cultivation journey to have good health and longevity. Because I don't know how to ride a scooter or do much of anything at all, I really rely on my husband. My youngest son lives in Taipei, which is very far away from us. So I am very grateful to my husband for always being by my side. I know that one day, sooner or later, everyone's life comes to an end. When that day comes, I hope that I am the first one to go. That is my wish. So really, we must all seize every opportunity to do good deeds. Time is ticking away. We must be aware of this.
In Malaysia, 82-year-old Grandpa Lu lives alone. He needs to undergo dialysis treatments due to kidney disease. Fortunately, Tzu Chi volunteers have subsidized him with medical costs. Being grateful, Grandpa Lu became a recycling volunteer to pay back Tzu Chi's help.
朗朗的天上白云飘，白云下面马儿跑，灰从边缘那相思房，百鸟齐飞翔。要是有人来问我，这是什么地方，我就骄傲地告诉他。 这是我的家乡。82岁了咯。
I am 82 years old. I came to Malaysia at age 19 when it declared independence. I have been here for many decades. I am getting old and my wife passed away 7 or 8 years ago. I am left alone. All my children work elsewhere. I undergo dialysis treatment 3 times a week, which is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I drove here myself.
Kalau mau kawan, jangan kawan orang, tentu kawan saya. Saya tunggu papa, saya tunggu mama, ayah kau. Mana sakit? Ayo, 我这不是跟着谁现在用非常。
All the cost for dialysis is paid by Tzu Chi. If I rely on myself, I would have lost my life. I am very grateful to Tzu Chi.
Grandpa Lau started to receive dialysis treatment 8 years ago. The first 2 years he paid by himself. Later, he learned that Tzu Chi helps the underprivileged, so he made a phone call to Tzu Chi for help. Therefore, Tzu Chi volunteers visited and assessed his situation and began to help with his dialysis cost.
有8年了不？
你牺牲有8年了吗？
有8年了，8、9年了。
哦，哎呦，没有水耶。
Many years ago, there are many volunteers came to help clean Lau's house. Because Grandpa Lau was in the tailoring business. After he ended his business, the stocks were kept there, so volunteers helped to sort them out.
Tzu Chi sold the land and the money is donated to Tzu Chi. Tzu Chi helped me, so I donated the money to Tzu Chi. It helped me. I also helped others with a little bit of money.
Shuren Elementary School in Tainan is famous for its students' graphic arts creations. Therefore, Tzu Chi volunteers have invited them to display their works at the Tainan Jingsi Hall. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.